Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Today is the 19th of October. It is 8:49 a.m. somewhere in Africa. And I was getting ready to do my workout and try to get myself together. It's Saturday morning. And sometimes, as soon as you open your eyes and you start getting ready for the day, and even if that's for the second time, because sometimes we get ready for the day again. I do that sometimes. I don't know if you do that, but sometimes we get ready again. So I was just getting myself ready and getting my mind right. And I was thinking to myself about situations and circumstances that present themselves in life that directly mirror a situation and a circumstance that we've already experienced or passed through that maybe was negative, right? And because of that negative situation, it produced trauma, it produced fear, it produced a lot of things. But this situation that you are now experiencing or facing is not anything like the one that you went through and experienced, although it looks like a replica. And so it's tough because the mind, the heart, the will, the emotions would tell you, because the body and the mind, it has its own defense mechanism, it has its own security system, it has its own alert system, to preserve itself, to protect itself. So, excuse me, when these situations present themselves, the mind, the will, the emotions are already letting you know, the person letting you know, and you've been here before, danger, 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 and these alarms are going off. These alarms are going off, and you're like, oh my goodness. So if something happens that triggers, it's like we're telling you the situation is bad, bad, bad. But then what happens sometimes is on the other end, on the other side, there will be a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. Okay? And now, I'm not saying like we hear voices over here. That's a scripture in the Bible, because there is another place, in another realm, in another place of living and existing where we are not led by our feelings, our emotions, and our natural security systems, right? That have been tampered with, that have been damaged, okay? That have been charged with breaking and entering, right? We've been victims of breaking and entering. We've gone through many things. So our security system, our natural mechanisms that we have, they've been tampered with. So we get to a point where hopefully we're trying to restore our systems so that they are functioning optimally, and they're also functioning the way that they were meant to function from the beginning. But that is a work. And the reality is, while we are going through that work of our systems being restored, we are still moving forward. We are still moving forward. We are still having to do life and take care of the things that we've been given, be good stewards. We're still charged to grow and to develop and all these things while we are in the place of restoring systems that have been tampered with. And let me get to my point. I'm trying here, okay? When it comes to certain issues, that still small voice will be telling you, while your natural security system is telling you, this is danger, stranger danger, right? That still small voice behind you, though, is saying, this is the way, walk in it. Now, you now have an option, or you now have a decision to make. Excuse me, not an option, which you do have, but I meant to say a decision. You're either going to listen to your natural mechanism, right? You're going to listen to your natural mechanism. You're going to listen to your intuition, which sometimes is natural. It's still a natural thing. Some people it's spiritual, whatever, but that's a whole nother discussion for another time. So you're either going to listen to your natural mechanism that, remember, has been broken and entered into, that has been tampered with, that has been altered, that has been fixed with parts that don't belong to it, right? Because you know, sometimes when you fix something, you get parts from here, parts from there, just to patch it up and fix it, right? You're either going to listen to that, your mechanism that you know yourself needs healing, that you know yourself needs restoration, that is dealing with trauma, and you walking through those things. Either you're going to listen to that, or you are going to override, okay? Override the system, your heart, your mind, your will, your emotions, your feelings that's telling you danger, 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 danger. Or you're going to listen to this still small voice that's telling you, this is the way, walk in it. Now, in the Bible, that still small voice is God himself. That still small voice, that's telling you, this is the way, walk in it. I know how it looks. And you know why it's a still small voice? Because he knows we have trauma. God knows we have trauma. So if he comes to us in the whirlwind, and this is also in the Bible, you know, the prophet was hiding. He was afraid. He had gone through trauma. People was looking to kill him. One person, a woman, was looking to kill him. He was going through, and he was like, you know what? I can't take no more. I'm done. And God didn't come to him loud and boisterous and danger, danger, because he already knew this man is already going through a lot of trauma and fear and a lot of things. So you know how I'm going to come to him? In a still small voice. I'm not going to be loud. I'm not going to be abrasive. I'm going to talk to him like this. Why? Because the scripture also says, a mild word, a gentle word, it turns away rage or wrath. And sometimes when our systems have been tampered with, when you come to somebody and you're loud and you come in, they automatically shut down. The system will shut down because it can't handle what you're bringing. So when we are at these crossroads and we're entering a place of having to make a decision, it's a very delicate, vulnerable space and time where you have to make a decision. And like I said, you're either going to listen to this side that's saying 1, 2, 3, 5 things that you are familiar with, that you walk through, you know this is danger, 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 or you're going to listen to this still small voice that's telling you this is the way, walk in it. I know it looks like before. I know it feels like before. I know some of the same things are happening that happened before, but that still small voice is saying, I promise you, it's not the same thing. I promise you, it's not the same situation. I promise you, it's completely different. Why? Because the foundation of what's happening is different, right? The foundation of what's happening is different. I could build a mall in the hood, and I could build a mall in the uppity area. When you've done your market research and you've done all those things, you can project how well this mall is going to do in one area from another area. Why? It's the same mall, but it's built in 2 different places. And so the outcome is going to be different. The outcome is going to be different. The outreach, the revenue, the longevity of those malls are going to be different based on where they're built. Right? the people that live in those areas, the money that's coming through those areas, the how many people are working. All these different things have to be considered before a undertaking like building something new happens. Research has to be done. Backstory has to be had. You have to do a lot. It's the same thing with decisions and direction. And so what was coming to me this morning, after 10 minutes of talking, was sometimes we find ourselves in situations that look exactly like and feel like where we're coming from or what we already passed through. And in attempts to not be a fool, and in attempts to not be foolish, we would immediately reject those new situations that look like old situations. We would immediately reject it. We throw it out before we even investigate. And we do that for a number of reasons. Fear of rejection, abandonment issues, a lot. Pride, worry, anxiety, fear of being hurt, a lot of things. So we won't even investigate or take the chance. But what I am seeing, personally learning, is that sometimes these opportunities that come that look just like where I'm coming from and that are attached to the places that I experience hurt or trauma or these types of things, those are excuse me, opportunities for growth. And I'm not saying that applies all the time to everything. I'm sharing my own personal, where, it's on you to go through what you need, your processes. And I will hope your main process is prayer and meditation, silence, listening, observing, asking for wisdom. He said, listen, God said, listen, if you lack wisdom, you know that you kind of low in the wisdom area, and we need wisdom to navigate life, then ask me. And he said, I give generously, which means I don't hold it back. I pour it out. Then we need to ask for the way that he's pouring out that wisdom, because his ways are so above ours and so far. We need to be able to see it when it comes so that we can receive it and get the very thing that we ask for. Which goes back to what I'm saying. The very thing we ask for, it's like we go through that where it's like, I don't want to feel this. I don't want to feel that. God, this was painful. It hurt me. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to feel that. But sometimes you have to feel those things in order to not feel those things. In order to elevate, in order to grow, sometimes you have to experience those same things that hurt you again, so that now you can do something different. So that now you can become something different, someone different. So that now you can elevate, so that now you can grow, so that now a new flower can be added to your branches, so that now your tree can grow that much taller. I have to expose you to the same things that you went through, that thought they were going to take you out, that thought it was going to destroy you. I'm bringing it back again. I'm bringing it back around again, so that you can become. So that you can become. These are opportunities for you to grow. While I'm talking, I'm thinking about when you go in therapy and you go in counseling. Sometimes they do like, I don't know what it's called. I have this book here, but it's like they will set up props in an environment that represents the trauma that you're coming from, right? You'll set up objects and different things that mimic where you're coming from. And these objects will represent the different people that was in your life, the different places of trauma that you passed through. And you get an opportunity to speak to these objects as if they are the people and the places that you passed through, that you experienced that trauma. And it's a safe space where you can now empty out and travel through what you were feeling, what you were going through, how you were seeing these people, places, and things. You're able to say the things that you didn't say then. You're able to revisit so that you can go forward. And so I'm saying all that to say that's what I was going through this morning. And I was like, it just hit me like, record that. But record that and share it, because there's so many of us humans who are going through this. It's just life. But what I'm seeing, and the reason why there's so many different experiences, because we make so many different choices, you know? And wisdom is applied knowledge, right? But it also usually comes with people who have passed through things successfully. Successfully. How did they do that? Now, again, it takes wisdom to know what to listen to, what not, what to take, what not to take, you know? And I pray that we all do that. We use wisdom when we're listening to things. We take what we take that's beneficial. We leave, whatever you feel doesn't apply to you. But I just wanted to share that. Sometimes situations that come to see us again and they knock on our door. Who's that knocking on my door? Anyway, when they come to knock, don't be so quick not to answer, and don't be so quick to run away. Sometimes be quick to run away, and sometimes don't answer, But I'm speaking on when you find yourself in a situation that mimics or mirrors a place where you're coming from. Sometimes if you look at it with a different set of eyes. I had a friend one time who told me, what ears are you hearing through? And what eyes are you seeing through? She was like, are you hearing through ears of trauma? And are you seeing through eyes of trauma? And if you are, then you're already off in the way that you see. So that's what I'm speaking to. It's like sometimes you'll find yourself in a situation, a circumstance that sometimes looks exactly like where you're coming from. But the outcome now and what you learn and who you become can be, and sometimes is usually directly connected to how you react and respond. And it dictates and it projects your outcome and where you're going and who you are. And if you've indeed grown, and if indeed your eyes are changing from eyes of trauma to eyes of a healed person, a growing person, an enlightened person, someone who has ears to hear, a humble person, an available person, a person whose capacity has enlarged and has changed, So I just wanted to share that. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid. And I'm speaking to myself, don't be afraid of the mirror and whatever you see. And then the mirror of circumstances and situations when it looks and feels and it starts to rub on those places inside of you that need to surface so that the dross can be removed. That's what happens with metal when it's heated, because you're precious. I'm precious. We are precious. But we also go through heat, hot situations, hot circumstances, hot happenings in life. Those things are meant to bring out of us what should not remain, right? So that those things that should not remain could just be moved easily off. It could just be removed. But when we keep trying to hide, behind pride and arrogance and self-love when you don't even know what love is, and self-confidence when you really are not confident, and that's why you're an overachiever, and we see a lot of that on Instagram and all these other things, people pretending. All of that is hiding, and what we don't know is that we are delaying our own true growth and our own true elevation when we keep pretending and when we keep hiding and when we keep lying to our own selves, and really we're just fearful children that need to grow up through the fire so that we can come out as pure gold, clean, real, honest, tangible, whole and healed, no longer hiding, but growing, one leaf at a time, one branch at a time, one flower at a time, one season of pruning and cutting away at a time, all of these things, not just seeing, the photo when everything looks great. And I'm not saying expose your whole life. I'm saying let life teach you and gain enough wisdom to know how life teaches. What are your emotions teaching you when you feel? What are you learning? How are you growing? When someone hurts you or harms you, why were they able to hurt and harm you? And I'm not saying you shouldn't be hurt, but what is that hurt teaching you? Not about them, about you. And then when you start to come up with answers, don't be quick to try to come up with a remedy. Let your responses sit with you. And then meditate on those responses and see if those responses are producing good fruit or bad fruit. It's a real process, So I'm just gonna cut there. Like, I'm on 21 minutes. I didn't expect to be this long, but I just wanted to share that, Sometimes you have to become a fool in order to become wise. And sometimes you have to look stupid in order to hold the wisdom that you've found, because it's a treasure. And sometimes you have to walk a scary path in order to get to the light at the end. And sometimes you have to allow yourself to go back through something in order to get what you passed up on the last go round. Sometimes we pass up things that belong to us because it made me afraid, or I was mishandled, I was mistreated. So this situation looks just like that. So I'm not even gonna deal with that situation. But what if you going through that? You're gathering, you're gleaning everything that you left over, everything you left behind from that last season, because I didn't have enough wisdom to know to pick that up. I didn't have enough courage. I didn't have enough bravery or boldness. I didn't have a voice. I had too much fear. I had too much pride. I had too much arrogance. I was too young. I was too unformed. I was still an embryo. I was still in an embryonic state. I was still an infant. So I'm getting another opportunity to pass through and to collect all that belongs to me. People always say this thing, take back what the devil stole. You know how he stole? You didn't have enough to know how to be offensive or defensive the right way. And so he's just picking up what you left. He's just, he's taking it. Oh, you left that door open? Oh, you didn't notice? Oh, take. We take back by becoming wise. Wise as a serpent, innocent as a dove. And sometimes that makes us to walk through places that cause us to be afraid. Or people will be like, why are you doing that again? Girl, you went through this, and why would you be doing? Worldly wisdom and divine wisdom are two different things. The wisdom of God and the wisdom of this world that we live in are two different things. So you got to decide where you trying to go. And people always talk about they want to elevate, but they take in earth's wisdom. You got divine wisdom, which is high above, right? That's an elevated place. Then you got earthly wisdom, it's below, right? When you take a plane, you're not flying on the ground. You're not flying on the ground, right? You have to lift off, you have to go up in order for the plane to be effective. The reason we take planes is to get us to places quicker, and to also take us to impossible places. Otherwise, you can't get to certain places by car. You can't get to certain places by motorcycle or bike or skates or skateboard or walking. Some things, in order to get there, you must fly. It's the same thing with wisdom. It's the same thing with growing. You must elevate, which means you have to leave from the wisdom of what's around you. Where has it gotten you? You can answer that personally. I know where it got me. Girl, places and spaces, I'll be like, right? But then when you say, I want to elevate, I want to grow, I want to become, growing happens up. Growing happens out. It doesn't grow and go down, except your roots, right? When you grow up. So I'm sharing that to say, even the wisdom that you get, because there's two kinds, right? The wisdom of the world, the wisdom of God. His wisdom is above. That means you need to get into the mind of who? Of God. You have to get into the mind of the one who created everything that's around us. And if you don't believe that there's a God and there's a creator, then that's okay too. And when I say that's okay because we find ourselves in different places in life and with different beliefs. I would hope that through your journey of discovery, you would discover that someone as magnificent as yourself or as me, the way we were created, you can't just big bang that. You can't big bang that. And it can't just evolve perfectly, the way the human body is, the way our minds are, the way we can create. It can't just evolve that way on its own. There had to be someone. And the things that we don't understand sometimes, we try to, because humans, it has to make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, then we just throw it out because it surpasses this mind. But what if what surpasses the mind is what's needed in order for you to grow? What surpasses how you think, how you feel, how you process? Maybe that's the exact thing that's needed for you to grow. So I'm just sharing because sharing is caring. Go Care Bears. And you only know about Care Bears if you know. So I just wanted to share that. I hope wherever you are, if you find this video, that it blesses you like how it blessed me. This is life and we live in it. We're living it. I used to be in a place where life was just living through me. I wasn't living life. Life was living through me. I became a vessel for life because life is a force. And it was just living through me. I was being used by life, until you start to grow and realize you have power, you have authority. I need to take that back. And then you start to live. But yeah, I hope it helps. I hope it blesses. I hope it does something, if not now, later. Sometimes seeds, they go in, you don't see the fruit until later, and that's cool too, because I'm experiencing that also in my life. So have a great, great day. If it's the evening, have a great, great rest. Feed your mind great things before you fall asleep. Good things, beautiful things, peaceful things. And if it's the start of your day, smash your day. And you know how you smash your day? By smashing yourself first. Being where you need to be as a human. Somebody that I care for very much, and who has influenced my life so much. They say, you always need to be at your best. You always need to be at your best. What kind of discipline is that? What kind of regulation of self is that, to always be at your best? Which means you don't have time to be worried about what's going on over there, her, him, watching people's life. You need to be at your best. So God is good. God is great. Thank you for our food. Amen. On that note, I'm done. I'm signing off. Love God, love yourself so you can love